Merry Christmas! We're going to have a look at putting a Christmas twist on the Build with Stacks and Shapes tutorial. If you haven't tried out the tutorial yet, you can find it here on the Apple Education community and work through the tutorial on the web or download the helpful keynote. The first thing I like to do is to do a bit of a rough plan of what I want my Christmas shape to look like. I don't worry about if it has more than 10 shapes or might seem complex. If I can create the shape in numbers using the shapes I know I can code within Swift, then all I need to do is work through coding one shape at a time. You can use the planning document attached to help you. When coding your characters, you may get an error message if you have more than 10 shapes, and you may need to layer shapes over another shape, meaning you need to use groups. So I will always start by creating groups or layers during my planning phase to figure out how many groups I will need, and then I will code these groups as my first step. Try to think of what shapes will appear on what layer if you created a 3D projection of your shape. Which shape would be at the bottom and which one's on top. You can use the planning document to help you work out which shape sits on what layer and how many groups you will need. In our Christmas shapes, there are lots of triangles. We have found this handy triangle function and matching code from Paul Hudson. Let's work on creating a simple Christmas tree. In Playgrounds, I will choose an app. Remove the content I don't need and change the V stack to a Z stack to ensure I can add layers. If you would like to use a triangle, we need to add the triangle function inside the content view. Now inside my Z stack, I can call on the triangle function with this code. Then I can change the width and height and set the X and Y coordinates with the offset code and change the color. I'll add some layers of my tree. Lastly, I'll add a rectangle for the tree trunk. To create some different types of shapes, use this rotation code to help you. We can find many helpful pieces of code in the Apple developer documents. I'll add some garlands onto my tree using rounded rectangles that are rotated. Simply copy and paste the code and place it underneath the rounded rectangle code. Then add in a positive or negative value to rotate your shape. When your shape is rotated, it may take a bit of trial and error to place your shape along the correct offset of the X and Y coordinates. Keep adding in more garlands and rotating these shapes. See if you can add a star by using two triangles that overlap on the X and Y coordinates and add the rotation code to flip one of the triangles. To add in a coloured background, add this code to your app under the Z stack. You can see the background colour code is different than the colour code I have used for each shape. We are using CG float colours. Our other shapes use .fill and a colour. To find out the values of the CG float, go to your planning document, click on a shape, click on Format, Style, choose the rainbow wheel. Choose the RGB sliders and click on More or the three dots. From here, choose Floating Point. Next, type in the values on the sliders to create the colour for your background. Click Play to test your app. Now tap into your creativity and code a range of fun Christmas characters. Wow, that's so cool. I love creating all my Christmas shapes. Now I might try to apply this and create some Christmas shaped cookies.